So friends, Dhanush's movie Tere Ishq Mein has finally been released, and honestly, films like this don't come often. Just the way Raanjhanaa once won everyone's hearts through Kundan, Tere Ishq Mein creates the same madness, pain and obsession with Shankar. This movie is extremely powerful, so my advice is, first go and watch it in the theatre. But here we are going to explain the complete story of Tere Ishq Mein in detail, including its heartbreaking ending. So let's begin. The story opens with Shankar, India's finest fighter pilot, flying a fighter jet during a routine training mission. Suddenly, he notices a Chinese aircraft hovering near Indian airspace. Shankar moves closer. Neither side wants war, but tensions rise. The Chinese captain loses his temper and prepares to attack. Without taking permission from his seniors, Shankar locks missiles onto them. Seeing this, the Chinese aircraft retreats. However, Shankar has disobeyed direct orders. When he lands, his senior officer Shekhawat explodes with anger. Shankar may be the best pilot, but he doesn't follow rules. Shekhawat tells him that Pakistan has already attacked Indian submarines, and the situation is extremely sensitive. One reckless move could start a war. As punishment, Shankar is suspended until he receives psychological clearance from a counselor. Shekhawat demands the best counselor in the country. That counselor is Mukti. She is calm, intelligent and pregnant. Her husband is trapped inside an Indian submarine that is under threat from Pakistan. She is emotionally shattered yet bound by duty. When Mukti opens the file and realizes that the person she has to evaluate is Shankar, she is shocked. Taking permission, she travels to Ladakh to meet him. But Shankar doesn't even look at her. He turns away, filled with anger. And from here, the story shifts 7 years into the past. We see Mukti as a PhD student at Delhi University, working on a thesis that claims violent people can be transformed. While she is presenting her ideas, Shankar enters the scene, brutally beating another student. He is contesting student elections. Mukti intervenes and tries to slap him, but Shankar catches her hand. Then he lets go and says that when a beautiful girl raises her hand, it should land on the cheek. He lets her slap him. Shankar is arrested and sent to jail. At the same time, Mukti's professors reject her thesis, saying violent people can never change. They give her a challenge: if she can change Shankar, her thesis will be approved. Mukti has spent years on this research, so she accepts the challenge. She bails Shankar out of jail and explains her plan. She wants him to apologize publicly and behave like a good human being. Shankar asks why he should listen to her. Is she his girlfriend? Will she marry him? Mukti clearly refuses any possibility of love. Shankar walks away. But on Valentine's Day, Mukti sees Shankar causing chaos in college again. When she confronts him, he admits his loneliness. He says he just wants someone to place their head on his shoulder and say that everything will be okay. To convince him, Mukti places her head on his shoulder and says those words. That moment changes something inside Shankar. He begins to fall in love. Mukti makes it clear that there is zero chance of love from her side. If he falls in love, it will be at his own risk. Shankar accepts this condition, believing that maybe even a dirty drain worm can be loved. Slowly, Mukti starts living around Shankar to change him, while Shankar starts changing genuinely. He listens to her, calms down, and begins to transform. But deep inside, his violent nature still exists. One day, when his friends get into a fight with a bus driver, Shankar beats the man badly. Mukti is shocked because she believed Shankar had changed. To prove himself, Shankar agrees to get slapped publicly. He takes the slap in front of Professor Mathur, and Mukti's thesis is finally approved. Later, Mukti tries to get physically close to Shankar because of a deal she made, but Shankar refuses. He says she is doing this as an obligation, while he wants love. This touches Mukti deeply, and she becomes emotional. From that day onward, Shankar truly changes. One night, Shankar tells Mukti about his childhood trauma. His mother died saving a child in a fire, and since then he has felt constant burning inside his body. He tells her that ever since she entered his life, that burning has stopped. Overwhelmed, he confesses that he loves her deeply. At that moment, Mukti's boyfriend Abhir arrives. Mukti runs into Abhir's arms. Shankar's soul shatters. He is completely broken. Later, Shankar threatens Abhir in anger, but doesn't harm Mukti. Mukti eventually rejects Abhir because she wants to go to the USA for studies. She visits Shankar's house and realizes how poor his living conditions are. She feels guilty and believes it is her fault for not understanding his love. She invites Shankar and his father to meet her father. Shankar and his father are overjoyed, believing that marriage talks will happen. But Mukti's father, Yashwant Beniwal, an IAS officer, humiliates Shankar. He questions his status, income, and future. He challenges Shankar to clear the UPSC prelims if he wants to marry his daughter. Despite Mukti trying to stop him, Shankar accepts the challenge. He promises Mukti that he will leave her house and return only when he clears the exam. Shankar studies relentlessly. He fails twice but clears the prelims on his third attempt. Excited and emotional, he goes to Mukti's house. But Mukti has forgotten her promise. After 3 years in the USA, she returns and announces her marriage to Jassi. At that very moment, Shankar calls her. She cuts the call. Then she sees Shankar standing in front of her. Shattered, Shankar creates chaos and later burns her house in rage. He is arrested and brutally beaten. His father Raghav begs for mercy, falling at people's feet to save his son's future. On the way home, Raghav dies in a tragic accident, leaving Shankar completely alone. At Varanasi, during his father's last rites, a priest warns Shankar that the girl he loves will never be his, in this life or the next. Shankar finally understands. He leaves Delhi, starts his life again, and focuses on his childhood dream of flying planes. Through hard work, he becomes a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. Years later, Mukti and Shankar meet again. Mukti is now married to Jassi and is dying from blood cancer. She is pregnant with Shankar's child. Her husband is trapped in a submarine during a war situation. Mukti finally confesses her love and apologizes, but Shankar has moved beyond love. He now wants to fight for his country. Mukti signs the clearance papers that allow Shankar to fly his fighter jet. Shankar promises that he will either return alive or save her husband. Shankar leads the mission and destroys multiple enemy ships, but his jet catches fire. To save the Indian submarine and Mukti's husband, Shankar makes the ultimate sacrifice. He crashes his jet into the final enemy ship, destroying it. At the same time, Mukti gives birth to her child and dies. In the end, just like Raanjhanaa, Shankar also sacrifices his life for love and duty. 2 stories, 2 lovers, and 1 painful truth. Some love stories are not meant to survive, they are meant to be remembered.